Chapter 3. Kidnapped. During the night it stopped raining, and the wind dropped, allowing thick fog to collect to the river valley. By the time Natalie's alarm went off at 5:30 a.m., she could barely see the streetlight outside the house. The world seemed muffled by the weather, even as the pillow had muffled her alarm. She shivered and dressed as quickly as she could, added an extra sweatshirt, then crept downstairs in her socks. Quietly, she let herself out, shut the front door, and sat on the step to put on her shoes. She was just congratulating herself on getting out of the house without waking anyone when a voice hissed from the fog. "And just what do you think you're doing?" Natalie's breath stopped in her throat. A stranger stood over her, silhouetted against the eerie orange glow of the streetlights. His head was shaved, a miniature metal skull dangled from one ear, and the cold scent of the night was on him. For a horrible second she couldn't move. Then she recognized the leather jacket and boots. She giggled in relief. "Tim, you gave me a scare. What have you done to your hair? Dad'll have a fit." "Doubt he'll even notice," her stepbrother said with a twist of his lip. "He's such a drunk." "Don't call him that." She glanced back at the house and lowered her voice. "Where have you been, anyway?" "I thought you were in bed." The chain hadn't been on the front door, but Tim often forgot to lock up when he came in late. Likewise, with some amusement. He eyed the two sweatshirts sticking out beneath Natalie's windbreaker. "Going somewhere?" "None of your business." She glanced at her wrist and realized she'd forgotten her watch. "Does Dad know you've been out all night?" Tim's eyes narrowed. His hand shot out and seized her shoulder. "No, he doesn't. And don't you go whining to him about it, or you'll live to regret it." Natalie stiffened. "Let go! Anyway, I thought you didn't care what he thought." "Don't make me mad, you half-blind little runt. Keep your mouth shut. Do you hear?" "I'll keep mine shut if you do." Tim stared at her. For a moment, she thought she'd gone too far, and her heart hammered. Then his lips twitched, and he released her. "So, my little sis has got a secret of her own, has she?" He watched, smiling, as Natalie hopped down the path, still trying to tie her shoelace. "Where are you going?" "Nowhere." "Maybe I'll follow you and see." That was the last thing she needed. "I'm going to walk Bilbo with Joe, if you must know," she told him, raising her chin. Tim shook his head and slid his key into the lock. "At this time in the morning?" "You're both crazy. It isn't even light out yet." "I'm going to bed. Make sure you don't fall in the river like your mother did." Natalie's heart twisted, but before she could think of a suitable reply, the door closed, and she heard the chain rattle as Tim locked up. She clenched her fists, tears in her eyes. Sometimes she hated him so much she wanted to scream. As she hurried to the corner, worried Joe would think she wasn't coming, an engine spluttered to life further up the street. "Milkman," she thought vaguely, forgetting he didn't deliver on Sundays.